What's up, y'all? I'm back out here in the garage to start off another fun video. I'm taking to the skies again on this one with another little RC helicopter that was sent over to me by RTR Hobby. This time we've got the model K170 UH-60L Blackhawk. Now, as you can see, this is another little small scale heli from them, similar to the Bell 206 here that I've had from them before. Y'all probably seen the video for this one. If you hadn't, I'll leave a link up above. This should be real similar in flight and everything to that. I believe this is a little bit smaller scale though, if I'm not mistaken. It's a similar size here, as you can see, but the Bell 206 is actually a little bigger. So there's no doubt this is a little bit smaller scale. And here's another size example. This is an MD500. So as you can see, these shouldn't be as big or bigger than the Blackhawk for sure. Now, really quick, as far as what you get with this, obviously you get your instruction manual there, a few spare parts, you get a set of 4 rotors, the tail rotor, your little screwdriver there, and you actually get a main gear there, so that's nice that they include that. I say that's nice, but hopefully that's not a sign that that's a weak part right there. It does also come with this little helipad, basically one of the little mouse pad style helipads, so better than none at all for sure. And then as far as what it's powered by, as you can see there, you've got a single cell battery with this one. Looks like 800 milliamp single cell battery. Now, just as a little comparison here, this is the battery for that Bell 206 and the MD500. As you can see, these are 2 cells, but much lower milliamps and a different form factor, even though both of these are the same exact part number. As far as your transmitter, very basic transmitter here, no surprise. You got your 2 sticks, your little trim adjustments there. You've got an auto takeoff and land, and then your control adjustment here, levels 1 through 3, as far as your twitchiness or responsiveness, I should say, of your controls. And then once again, here's the actual copter. Now you can see it's on a stand here. They provide this little stand. It's got a couple little slots on the bottom that you can put it on. This, to me, being that's the case and just how it feels, this feels more like a static kind of replica model that you can also fly. Now, that's not to say it doesn't fly well. I'm not sure. I've done a little maiden flight here just because I wanted to test the battery inside my garage and make sure the trim was good. The trim looks fine. I can tell you right now though, it is very twitchy with no optical flow. I mean, you have to be on the sticks and making sure where it's going, because it's going to have some drift regardless of if it's trimmed or not, with no optical flow or GPS or anything. But it is really cool as far as the details and the scale of it. If you're a collector of little scale helicopters, of course you would want something like this, and it's just a bonus that it can fly. Something very different from these other two, obviously, as you can see, true to form here, it's got wheels, landing wheels instead of the landing gear, and they are rubber. They're actually rubber wheels. Yeah, rubber wheels on, I think the wheels and the tires are plastic maybe, and then you've got a plastic insert for the axle. As far as landing, we'll see how tricky that is without the landing gear, but what I can say is just about every one of these little copters so far, I've broken the landing gear on. I had to order some new ones here, and for this right here, I've just repaired them, but I got a new set to replace them, so that may be a good thing. I won't have to worry about breaking landing gear with this one. And speaking of ordering the extra parts, that's one thing about that Bell 206 and this MD500 that I really like. I was able to order the parts. I mean, you can order every single part, including the entire fuselage if you need to. This one, I'm not sure you can do that with. I hadn't had to look up any kind of parts, although I'm assuming there probably is somewhere you can come up with them. Now, as far as getting this one up in the air, you got to put your battery. Unlike the other two there that's got an external battery compartment, you have to pull this front off of this little nose. It's no big deal. You just kind of mash it in right there in the bottom and then swivel it up. You got a couple little hooks there on the top, so be careful not to break those off. And then your battery actually just slides right into this little tray here and then hooks up. Of course, you just want to be in the habit of turning on your transmitter first. So we got the transmitter on there, get our battery plugged in. And then once that's all clipped on, it's kind of the standard affair. You go up, down, and that gets you bound. As if you want to recalibrate the gyros, you go down and to the right with both of them. Now you're good. And then to take off, obviously you can do the 1-click takeoff and land, or you can go down and out to start your motors there. Now I'm not going to take off inside, but there you go. And then you can turn it back off there. So let's get this thing outside, and hopefully we don't have a lot of wind, because that's one thing about this one. I can tell you right now, you're not going to want to fly this in any kind of wind. All right, y'all, I'm getting some pretty rough gusts of wind out here, but I'm going to try this thing anyway. Let's try the 1 takeoff landing. I think you might have to crank it up first. Yeah, you got to crank it up first. So let's crank her on up, and then we'll try it here. I tell you, I really should not be doing this out here in this wind, honestly, but It's all right, it ain't too bad, I don't think. See, I got to drift big time to that way, but that's just because of wind, because I'm not going to change any adjustments because I adjusted all my trim inside my garage and I know it's on, but you can see just how it's being pushed around by this wind. I mean, you really have to watch it with this thing in this wind. And that right there is why you don't fly these in the wind. I just immediately broke that thing by smacking into the back of that tree. You can see here, it broke off one of the little, I'm not even sure what the part's called, this little control arm. It broke it off that goes from this little mount right here to that thing there. And unfortunately, I mean, I've got spare blades. Everything else is perfectly fine. It just happened to break one piece that I don't have. So I think this video is going to be cut much shorter than I thought it was until I can get me some kind of part to fix this thing. All right, y'all, obviously this is a much shorter video than I had intended this to be. I was gonna run this pack out here and have a little fun, but you see what happened here. Very unfortunate. Now again, I should not be out here in this wind. There's a lot more wind than it probably looks like on camera. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this little heli right here is not meant for wind. If you get in any kind of wind and you don't have some good experience of flying these little helis with no optical flow, I mean, you can see right there, the wind is like literally pushing. This thing is not meant for this much wind. If you don't have some experience in flying manually, no optical flow, no kind of help basically, then this really isn't the one for you. It ain't the one for me, obviously, as you can see. I still feel like this is more suited as like a nice little static, a little scale detailed static model that you can also fly, especially indoors. I should have just done a video in my garage and flown it because it was perfectly fine in the garage because there was no wind, obviously. I don't know if it came through in that other head cam I was using, but there's what broke. As you can see, my little arm, control arm that goes down there to the rotor head, it just snapped right there. So I guess now I'll figure out for sure if you could get parts for this little thing to repair it. If I were personally going to recommend one of these little small sub $100 beginner type helis, I would go for something like that Bell 206, the red and white one that I've done a video on, but I would get it with the optical flow. The one I've got doesn't have optical flow, but I'm actually going to add it to that one, so that'll be interesting to see. Optical flow really does help. I know it may not be, you know, the best system on these little small inexpensive helis, but it definitely helps. I mean, it keeps it from being blown all over as much, and then it keeps it kind of a lot more stable where you don't have to always be on the sticks fighting it. But I'll see if I can hunt down a part to get this one here fixed up and do a follow-up video on it. Unfortunately, the shipping is probably going to cost more than one little part. What I normally do and what I did on that Bell 206 when I ordered the optical flow module for it, I went ahead and got a couple like little extra landing gears. I actually got an entire whole fuselage for it, and the entire order, like with a bunch of different extra spare parts, was only like 20 bucks. So it is cheap to repair these things. You do have to wait a little bit, but at least they can be repaired. Hopefully it's the same for this one. But I'll leave a link down below for RTR Hobby to this Black Hawk and several other little helis they have, including that Bell 206. I've got a discount code that I'll leave down there too in case y'all are interested in checking that out. So stay tuned for an update on this little heli when I can work some parts out for it. I've got a ton of really cool stuff on the way, so be on the lookout for that, and I'll see y'all soon.